Now detailed. Ogun State government says it would continue to place high premium on the training of its workforce. Ogun State Head of Service, Mr. Peter Fagbo, who said this in Abeokuta at the opening of a one-day training for Principal Administrative Officer in the State Civil Service, also stressed that personal development will make an individual stand out amongst its peers. Fawura Adeso reports.
The training workshop is put together by the Ogun State government in conjunction with AA Cosmopolitan Memory Consult for officers drawn from ministries and government agencies were administrative officers on grade level 12. Ogun State Head of Service, Mr. Peter Kolawole Fagbon, said the administration of Prince Dakwa Abiodun would not compromise standard and welfare of its workforce.
Indeed, we are grateful to His Excellency for his kind support toward the welfare of State Force, just as once again demonstrated through recent approval of various palliative packages for the public servants and the state.
Mr. Fagbon also emphasized the importance of the two-day workshop.
For the glory of God, I acquired computer skill, not just typing skill, real ICT skill, when there was no computer civil service. That endeared me to my organ in those days, because they knew it as a panel, and I made the secretary. The decision or the recommendation of the panel will not leak before they submit the report. That was why I was darling of everybody at that time.
Earlier, the Permanent Secretary, Bureau of Establishment and Training, Mrs. Lydia Fajumbo, had said professional courses will not be substituted for the program.
The Scheme of Service 2003 edition provides that a Principal Administrative Officer grade level 12 must attend a course in either manpower budgeting and staff inspection, pension administration, management consulting, or grading to be eligible for promotion to grade level 13.
The Permanent Secretary, Civil Service Commission, Adedayo Shomoye, and his Bureau of Public Service Reform counterpart, Oyejola Oyeleye, were of the opinion that the era of mass promotion may be fading away, while stressing the need for participants to avail themselves of the opportunity provided by government on capacity building. Lead consultant AA Cosmopolitan Memory Consult, Alhaji Adekunle Adepite, said manpower development budgeting and pension administration will be captured extensively in the two-day training workshop. Adefowora Adesanwo, OGTV News.
The House of Representatives had a committee investigating employment racketeering by ministries, departments, and agencies and mismanagement of the Integrated Payroll and Personal Information System, IPPIS, on Monday, queried the Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB, over what it described as lopsided employment in the agency. The House Probe Panel had demanded that the agency immediately submit to it the list of all staff employed between 2015 to 2023 and decried lack of adherence to extant regulation of the nation's public service, as it was discovered by the committee that JAMB employed 300 staff from 2015 till date without advertising. The chairman of the Haddock Committee, Honorable Yusuf Gaje, issued the query when the registrar of the board, Professor Ishak Uluide, appeared before the committee. According to Gaje, the agency has shortchanged many Nigerians according to their employment records. He said that from the documents available to the Probe Panel, the examination body had been undertaking employment without due process of advertisement, shortlisting, and interview of job seekers. The lawmakers and other committee members noted that the agency has so far relied on waivers for recruitment of staff without adhering to the provisions of the law on non-engagement of more than 100 staff annually. 5 illegal development sites in Abeokuta without building plan approval have been sealed off by the Ogun State government's through the State Building Production Management Authority under the State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. Our reporter, Margaret Okunola, was with the team that went round for the routine enforcement exercise. Here is her report.
The State Building Production Management Authority, an arm of the State Ministry of Planning and Urban Development, is saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that buildings are constructed rightly with quality materials under the supervision of qualified professionals in the construction industry. After ignoring the contravention notice earlier served by the authority, Ogun State Building Production Management Authority sealed 5 buildings under construction in Abeokuta, which include 4 residential buildings and a filling station. The team, led by the acting general manager of the agency, Engineer Olakunle Olaniro, carried out this measure to serve as deterrent to other defaulters.
All the construction processes has to be managed by an authority, and that is the OGBPMA. So, for any building to be passed in Ogun State now, it must go through the process of certification. To every building permit granted in Ogun State, there is a form there that tells you that you need to go to OGBPMA anytime you want to start your construction, at least 7 days to the commencement of construction.
Engineer Olaniro emphasized that the current administration will not condone illegal construction without planning permits, as this is inimical to the development plan of the state.
That is, the process is in 4 stages: your foundation, your frame, your slab, and your roof. It is after this that we now issue you a certificate of completion and fitness to use. People should take advantage of the creation of Ogun State Building Production Management Authority, so that we would look at their construction processes, the quality of materials being used, and all that is related to building rights, so that at the end of the day we have a safe and resilient building in Ogun State.
Engineer Olaniro further affirmed that the sealed properties were developed in breach of the building law, which included no approval planning permit, construction of additional structures without permit, approval for residential permit but constructed a building for commercial purpose, construction undertaken by quacks, among other reasons. He further enjoined property owners and developers across the state to abide by the physical planning laws of the state. Margaret Okunola, OGTV News.
The National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, has unveiled online programs for higher national diploma HND holders to acquire bachelor's degree certificates within 1 year. The online top-up programs, according to NBTE, is with foreign accredited universities. The board's head of media, Fatima Abubakar, said attempts in the past to get the National Universities Commission approve a 2-year Master of Technology for HND holders in some polytechnics did not see the light of the day. The board also highlighted mobilization for the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) as a challenge facing HND holders. The board further appealed to President Bola Tinubu to sign the bill removing the HND-BSc dichotomy in the public service as passed by the 9th National Assembly to end the discrimination against graduates of the polytechnic system. About 1,245 rounds of 70 mm 2 3/4 ammunition of Lion, Thrust, Supreme, and Red Star branded cartridges have been seized by the Nigerian Customs Ogun Area 1 Command. The controller, Bamidele Makinde, confirmed during a press briefing that the seizure was as a result of intelligence-driven operation. Elizabeth Esson reports.
The acting Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adeniyi, was on a working visit to Ogun Area 1 Command with a marching order to men and officers to ensure adequate manning of the borders towards national security. During an intensive intelligence-driven operation, the command received information of planned smuggling of prohibited items into the country through the Republic of Benin. The Comptroller, Ogun Area 1 Command, Bamidele Akindele, while briefing press at the command headquarters in Abeokuta, confirmed that on Friday, 12th August 2023, the roving B team of the command who was on 24-hour surveillance patrol, intercepted 5 old vehicles, Toyota, Camry, and Mazda, loaded with 203 bags of foreign parboiled rice of 50 kg each, abandoned in a bush path at Tombolo Junction, close to an exit point to the Republic of Benin, near Ijo, Yewa North local government area of Ogun State.
During the examination of the 6 vehicles and the item, about 1,245 rounds of 70mm 2¾ ammunition of Lion Trust, Supreme and Red Star branded cartridges were found to have been ingeniously concealed in 20 bags of the intercepted foreign rice.
According to Makinde, the drivers of the seized vehicles, who were suspected to have been entered at the movement of the customs operatives, escaped through the bush, evading arrest.
The distributed value of the seized ammunition and rice is 17,638,145 only. The items have been deposited for safekeeping, pending further necessary action. Investigation is ongoing to unravel the cartel responsible for the attempted smuggling of the items for arrest and prosecution.
The seized vehicles are with chassis numbers 41XK1263, NU108237, 41BG22K1WU 31214, 2GD 14H201568566, JMZF 14F20 1173029, and JMZGF 14P201141 Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
Still ahead on the news, Abia State government bans operations of commercial motorcycles in Umuahia, Abia. Details of this and more after the break. Glad to know that you are still there, and if you're just joining us, you're watching the major news broadcast for the day on OGTV. The organized labor has vowed to proceed with a total, comprehensive, and indefinite nationwide shutdown of the country should there be another increase in petrol pump price from the existing 670 naira, which it described as illegal. NLC President Joe Ajaero gave the notification on Monday at the Africa Trade Union Alliance meeting in Abuja, where organized labor also warned against undermining the demands of the union. Oil marketers on Sunday indicated that the cost of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, would rise to between 680 naira per litre and 720 naira per litre in the coming weeks, should the dollar continue to trade from 910 to 950 naira at the parallel market. They also hinted that dealers seeking to import PMAs were being forced to put the plans on hold due to the scarcity of foreign exchange to import the commodity. Abia State Governor Alex Otti has banned the operation of commercial motorcycles known as Okada in Umuahia and Aba Metropolis. Governor Otti's spokesperson Kaze Uko disclosed this in a statement. Uko said the prohibition against the operation of commercial motorcyclists in the state comes into effect immediately, but did not provide justification for the ban. He added that the motorcycles seen on the streets of Umuahia and Aba townships being used for such purposes will be impounded by the security agencies. The increase in road crashes in the first half of year 2023 have been attributed to the deplorable state of roads, reconstruction activities, as well as insufficient traffic signs on major roads across the country. This was submitted by the heads of transport unions who reacted to the statistics released by the first spokesman of the Federal Road Safety Corps, BC Kazim. Ayodeji Olumi completes the report.
Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, through its spokesperson, Bizi Kazim, said a total of 4,387 people died as a result of road traffic crashes from January to June 2023 across the 36 and Federal Capital Territory. Data obtained showed that 3,372 died from road crashes in the first half of 2022, a difference of 1,015, amounting to 26.2% increase from 2022.
Majority of the accidents are as a result of the deplorable state of roads and lack of patience on the part of drivers.
We are taking a lot of step on it because some people, when we are in the park, we are almost advise our drivers when they are going to traveling, so we are telling that they should limit their speed when they are on the road.
Heads of road unions reviewed efforts taken by them at stemming the tides.
Every Monday. We engage the drivers on regular orientation, which holds every Monday.
They are arranged our task force to address all our drivers. We talk to our drivers, please don't drink alcohol. And then all those drivers, they understand our issue.
They further seek government's intervention at ensuring speedy completion of ongoing construction and rehabilitation of road projects across the Federation. Ayodeji Olumi, OGTV News.
An aircraft belonging to the Nigeria Air Force has crashed. Reports that the aircraft took off from Kaduna en route to Minna, Niger State capital, when the incident occurred on Monday. In a statement, Director of Public Relations and Information of the Force, Air Commodore Edward Kagwet, said the aircraft crashed in a village in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The statement adds that the Nigeria Air Force M1-171 helicopter on a casualty evacuation mission crashed at about 1 p.m. at Chikuba village in Niger State. The aircraft had departed Zungeru Primary School en route Kaduna, but was later discovered to have crashed. Meanwhile, Kabut says efforts are ongoing to rescue the pilots and passengers on board. The military junta in Niger Republic has vowed to prosecute ousted President Mohamed Bazoum for alleged treason and criticized West African leaders for imposing sanctions against the country. The spokesperson to the junta, Hamadou Abdurrahman, said the military leaders would prosecute Bazoum for undermining the internal and external security of Niger. Last week, the ECOWAS approved as a last resort the deployment of a standby force to restore constitutional order in Niger as soon as possible, but claimed that it remains committed to finding a diplomatic solution to the crisis. Meanwhile, head Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights has urged those who detained President Mohamed Bazoum to respect and protect the human rights of those detained. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk said UN felt concerned after learning about the poor living conditions of those detained in Niger, including the president and members of his family. The coup, which is the third of its kind in the West African country in 3 years, has drawn condemnation from many African countries and others outside the continent, which view the unconstitutional change of power as a threat to stability and development of the continent. In another development, the offer to go to the negotiations table is a good step forward in resolving the crisis in Niger, and ECOWAS must explore the option to address the situation. These opinions were expressed by the people who spoke on the show of readiness by the military junta to allow for negotiations with the regional bloc as a means of finding solutions to the crisis in the West African nation. Matthew Shomi completes the report.
Concerned by the need to prevent further forceful takeover of governments in the region, the Economic Community of West African States decided to take a strong stand against military coup that was already spreading like wildfire among countries in the West African sub-region. Just as the region, and by extension, the whole of the continent, was still trying to digest the necessity for the strong stance and the measures that must be put in place to achieve this, the military of the Republic of Niger decided to put the resolve of the ECOWAS to test by announcing the overthrow of a democratically elected government led by Mohamed Bazoum. After exploring the few available diplomatic options, ECOWAS issued an ultimatum for the release of the ousted president and return to civilian rule, which the head of the military junta refused to comply with.
Who carries the load knows whether it is heavy or light. The people, in the Nigerians, definitely they are in better position to justify whether military intervention has relevance to them or not. But there's a caveat. The military boys, are they really accountable to the people? Absolutely no. Secondly, whatever they do, no one will dare ask them.
Africans need to ensure that there is good governance. So if there was good governance, if Nigerians are living large, having a lot of money in their pocket, if everything was going on smoothly, there wouldn't be coups. And so, as Nigerians, as West Africans, as Africans as a whole, we need to deliver good governance.
The economic community of West African states then adopted a military option, among other sanctions, to restore constitutional order in the Niger Republic, but a new twist was added to the situation as the military junta eventually had a change of mind by settling for a dialogue after several attempts by several individuals and groups. The cross-section of Nigerians comments on the twist of events.
That's the best way. If you look at war eventually will still resort to negotiation. They will still come to the round table and discuss. And don't forget, when we go to war, there's no way we can do it. Lives will be lost. Even material resources will be lost. So the best is to go on negotiation.
I was happy that the military junta is ready to talk. Before they were not seeing all the emissaries from ECOWAS, but now they are ready to talk, they are ready to dialogue, and I hope very soon they will return back to democracy. What we want them is to tell us what their plan is. I mean, so it's not compulsory President Bazoum returns, but we want democracy to return back to the country.
We need to go back to the drawing board, to the drawing table, sit down, marshal our points, and to pray fervently to God to give us good leaders in Africa, in West Africa. Anything short of that, we are only begging the issue.
They expressed their belief in the quick resolution of the situation as they called on all parties to be ready to shift ground in their negotiation. Matthew Showme, OGTV News.
Up next is business news after this time out with Adebola Oshomoji.
The widening gap between the demand and supply of dollars in the banks and at the parallel markets has continued to worsen the value of the naira. In less than 3 weeks, the naira lost 100 naira after sliding from 860 per dollar to 960 per dollar at the parallel market as of Friday. Before the Central Bank of Nigeria enabled the free float of the naira against other global currencies in June, the naira had traded at 471 per dollar at the investor and exporter window. However, on June 13, a day after the regulator floated the local currency, the naira rose to 664 per dollar the next day. However, the naira, which traded in a close margin at both the official INE window and parallel market, soon began to witness serious volatility in the black market. After crossing the 900 naira per dollar ceiling at the parallel market last week, the local currency tumbled to 925 per dollar in Lagos.
Traders and merchants in West Africa have decried the impact of sanctions in Niger and how it is affecting movement of goods and services in the Sahel region. Owing to this, Nigeria is said to be losing more than 13 billion naira weekly due to the sanctions. 7 states of Katsina, Kebbi, Zamfara, Sokoto, Jigawa, Yobe, and Borno, which share border and are involved in the trading activities with Niger, worth billions of naira. Chairman Arewa Economic Forum Brahim Yahya Dantata in a press conference says trade between Niger and Nigeria is mostly informal, especially in perishable goods, food items, and livestock worth 177 billion naira. Of all these businesses, all have been suspended and the border closed and movement of goods and services restricted. The average cost of bus transportation within Nigerian city rose from 649.59 naira in May 2023 to 1,285 naira in June 2023 as the pump price of premium motor spirits rose, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. This means that the cost of intra-city bus transportation rose by 98%, or 636 naira within 1 month. Figures obtained from the Transport Fare Watch report of the MBS for June 2023 revealed. It said this included the breakdown of bus journeys within the city's per drop constant route, bus journey intercity state route, charge per person amongst other means of transportation. The administration of President Bola Tinubu will likely spend about 187.32 billion naira to settle debt owed to local contractors this year. The debt were listed as a promissory note in a document titled Schedule of a Promissory Note issued by category as at September 30, 2022 by the Debt Management Office. According to investor, the promissory note is a debt instrument that contains a written promise by one party, the note issuer or maker, to pay another party, the note payee, a definite sum of money either on demand or at a specified future date. Section 4 of the Government Promissory Note Act states that government promissory notes are paid from the general revenue and asset of the Federation. The Central Bank of Nigeria said that it issued 40.67 billion naira loans to members of its staff as of December 2022. This was according to the Apex Bank's audited financial statement for 2022. There was an increase of 133.07% from 17.43 billion naira in 2021 to 40.67 billion naira in 2022. CBN did not provide details on the number of staff members who were beneficiaries of the loan. However, information on its website provided insight into the bank's current staff strength. And lastly, on the business segment of the news, the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority has vowed to sanction airlines and allied services providers that fail to maintain adequate insurance coverage for their aircraft and other aviation equipment. The aviation industry regulator said it was mandatory for all operators to comply with the Nigerian Civil Aviation regulations. According to the CAA, compliance entails maintaining adequate and valid insurance cover, submitting copies of valid insurance certificates to the authority, and evidence of payment of premium and other policy document of insurance cover of not less than 3 months. The letter addressed to all airlines and allied aviation services providers was signed by the Director General and CAA Captain Musa Nuhu. And that was the business segment of the news. Over to Wally for the rest of our bulletin.